नेपालमा एकदम गाह्रो हुन्छ यो हुकअप कल्चर आई फिल लाइक अब डिस्कसनहरू भइरहेछ probably in small pockets people are able to have casual sex यहाँ त I feel like even if you have that desire to have casual hookups कहाँ गर्ने के तर dating apps has also made hooking up very very easy ni no matter how independent how sexually liberated we may be we still have to be kind of conscious of what the community says हैन अब त्यो मैले अर्को generation older people I don't even try to educate them there might be absolutely no discussion of consent or boundaries so I think in a lot of ways men ko lai it actually gives them more permission भनौं न to be a more misogynistic
queer friends हरुको कुरा गर्दै गयो भने चाहिँ अझ बढी रिस्की हुँदै जान्छ कि जस्तो लाग्छ कि casual sex or hookup culture चाहिँ
अब त्यो STIs sexually transmitted infections ko risk is very very high especially if you have casual partners हैन sexual encounters ma pani like please do ask your partner what they're comfortable with ke
Hello, namaste everyone. Welcome to Sexploration. I am Nishma Choudhary and I'd like to welcome you all to the wonderful set of Radio Nagarik. You guys are watching us maybe from either Radio Nagarik's YouTube channel or Radio Nagarik's Facebook page. And this is one of those shows that we've made to focus your concern and our concern on sexual and reproductive health and rights. And I'm one of your two hosts. I hope you all are enjoying the other episodes that we're putting forward. यहाँले हेर्नु भएको छैन भने चाहिँ हाम्रो सबै एपिसोडहरु यहाँले रेडियो नागरिकको युट्युब च्यानल अथवा रेडियो नागरिकको फेसबुक पेजमा भेट्न सक्नुहुन्छ. सो आज एउटा यस्तो टपिक लिएर आएको छौं जुन चाहिँ मैले हेर्दाखेरि पनि सोचिरहेको थिएँ के जस्तै हाम्रो समाजमा जुन जहाँ हामी हुर्किरहेछौँ जस्तो परिवेशमा हामी हुर्किरहेका छौँ हैन अब यो नखाऊ त्यो नखाऊ यो दिन यो खानु हुँदैन यो दिन कपाल काट्नु हुँदैन केटाले यस्तो लुगा लाउनु पर्छ केटीले यस्तो लुगा लाउनु पर्छ केटा मान्छे यसरी बोल्नु पर्छ केटी मान्छे यसरी बोल्नु पर्छ हैन हामीलाई यति धेरै यस्तो कुरा सिकाइन्छ कि हामीले बिर्सिन्छौँ हामी चाहिँ एउटा इन्डिभिजुअल हो हामी पनि एउटा छुट्टै व्यक्ति हो र हाम्रो पनि चोइसेस छ भनेर अझ त्यसलाई हामीले सेक्सुअल ओरिएन्टेसन हाम्रो सेक्स लाइफको अथवा रिप्रोडक्टिभ को साइडबाट एंगलबाट हेर्यो भने त झन् त्यो केसमा पनि कति धेरै पुलिसिङ हुन्छ कति धेरै कन्ट्रोल हुँदो रहेछ अरूहरूको जस्तै सायद यु नो सोसाइटीको अथवा हाम्रो प्रिभियस जेनेरेसनको हाम्रै घरमा हुने हाम्रो पेरेन्ट्सहरूको हाम्रो एल्डर्सहरूको सबै कन्सेप्टहरूको जुन कन्सेप्टले चाहिँ हामी हुर्किरहेका छौँ त्यसको सो टुडेज टपिक इज बेसिकली अबाउट हुकअप कल्चर and policing of youth अनि मैले यो सबै भन्नुको रिजन चाहिँ मैले सोचेँ कि अब यदि हामीलाई भनिदैन थियो यस्तो गर्नुपर्छ यस्तो गर्नु पर्दैन भने हामी के गर्थ्यौ होला त भन्ने मैले धेरै 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 सोचेँ हैन अब के सोचेँ र त्यसपछि अरु के हुन सक्छ भन्ने कुराको डिस्कसन चाहिँ हामी हाम्रो गेस्टसँग गर्नेछौँ वी हेभ भेरी फियर्स भेरी ब्युटिफुल very, I'd say like outspoken and amazing guest with us today. हामीसँग Nirvana Bhandary हुनुहुन्छ. She's a feminist writer. She is a co-founder of the F Project Nepal and also Nirvana Vibes KTM. If you haven't been to any of her events, please do. Welcome to the show, Nirvana.
Thank you so much. Very excited to have this conversation with you.
Same here. I was actually looking forward to meeting you. Ani अब यस्तो conversation गर्नुपर्छ बस्नुपर्छ सिक्न पाइन्छ कि जस्तो पनि लागिरहेको थियो. So I hope that we get to give a really nice content to our listeners and viewers today.
Definitely.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about this.
Hey, what are you occupied with, Aile?
I am writing, mainly focusing on my writing. So as you mentioned, I'm a feminist writer. Been writing for a very long time. Ani, I have a book in the works. So I'm hoping to complete that and share it with everyone very soon. So main say already they got that.
Hey, I'm very excited. So just let me know whenever it's completed. I'm sure you'll just put it up in Instagram because I follow her as well. So as a हाम्रो topic चाहिँ hookup culture and policing of the youth छ हामीले अलिअलि हाम्रो off camera पनि कुरा गरि नै हाल्यौ हैन तर just to start off with the episode what is hookup culture from your perspective or whatever you know about it.
Sure. So hookup culture bhanera I think it's kind of a specific slang term that I would say it's been in use maybe 2015 dekhi bhanum na is when I started hearing about it and when I was in my early 20s. So hookup culture bhandari मैले चाहिँ what I kind of think about is this culture where young people mainly are having sex and intimate relationships tara more focused on the physical side, so not with much romance or long-term expectations involved. Okay? So mainly, it can range from any sexual acts, from kissing to intercourse. The kind of expectations, those two people might not be in a relationship, and it might be a very casual thing, whether it's one encounter or ongoing for a certain amount of time. But I think one thing that really defines it is the lack of expectations, and the lack of emotional connection and commitment. But not necessarily to sabai hunu pani pardaina.
Okay, so basically it is all about where you are maybe not in love जुन हामीले एउटा सोचेको छौँ अनि त्यो बाहेक पनि शारीरिक सम्पर्क राख्न सकिन्छ, समय बिताउन सकिन्छ भन्ने किसिमको कन्सेप्ट चाहिँ हुकअप कल्चर लिएर आउँछ. So it's a slang basically.
Yeah, I think so. A subculture type bhanau, or maybe we can even say pop culture reference, or अहिले social kind of young people ko ke भन्नु thinking ma or practice ma yo. Tara I'm sure older generation haruले बुझ्दैन हैन, maybe यो episode हेरेर okay जस्तो हुन्छ, तर I think it is a very new concept के किनकि धेरै older people लाई, I mean it might seem very taboo, it might seem like किन यस्तो गरेको, or हाम्रो जमानामा यस्तो हुँदैन थियो, all this stuff. But yeah,
in the East I think.
तर I mean even in the West I think maybe किनकि अब let's say 50 years back पनि everyone was getting married at a much younger age, हैन. अब हामी अहिले I'm 30, I'm guessing you're the age होला. 29. So अब हाम्रो एजमा त it was very common, like Westमा पनि Eastमा पनि, to be married, settle down, have kids probably. So I think अब यहाँ obviously हाम्रो नेपालको context, South Asiaको contextमा अझ conservative छ, तर बाहिर पनि there are still I think a lot of hesitations around hookup culture.
So what I know about hookup culture is यो अन्तर्गत चाहिँ सबै कुरा पर्न सक्छ. Say as a one night stands, like you said, like it could be for a brief amount of time, maybe just one thing. So one night stands, I think सबैजनाले टर्म बुझ्नु नै हुन्छ होला. Also you may have had one, I know. I think friends with benefits, I know. So these all these things, and I somewhere read okay, booty call also comes under this one, okay, where you're like okay. So. Dang, and I was like, ooh, okay, that sounds really good, I know. But yeah, definitely, like you said, it's हाम्रो जुन एउटा जुन तरिकाले हामी हुर्क्यौँ भनौँ न, अब अहिले त things are like हामी यहाँ छौँ कि हामी यहाँ छैनौँ भन्ने फर्म फेजमा छौँ जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई. हामी त्यो ट्रान्जिसनल फेजमा छौँ कि जस्तो लाग्छ कि maybe we aren't there already where we accept everything already, but we're also not in a phase where we want to really hold ourselves back to all the things of the purano generation ko concept haruma ke. So I really feel like okay, your transitional phase ho ani यसमा चाहिँ हामीले सिक्दै नै जानु पर्छ हैन. But while doing all of this, it's very difficult, and it may be because there is a lot of pulling back र control जस्तो के जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो older generationले हामीलाई गर्छ के. What do you think about this? कि हामी like I'll choose to go forward, हैन, but there'll always be this either जुन किसिमले म हुर्केको छु, अथवा there'll always be people directly and indirectly, okay? So what are your thoughts on this? Anything you want to add
in relation to hookup culture?
In relation to hookup culture and how there's a lot of policing, okay? So यही गर्नुपर्छ, यो गर्नु हुँदैन, त्यो गर्नुपर्छ. So I just wanted to know your opinion.
Yeah, sure. So I think नेपालमा एकदम गाह्रो हुन्छ यो hookup culture. I feel like अब डिस्कसनहरू भइरहेछ. Probably in small pockets people are able to have casual sex, हैन, तिमीले भनेको जस्तै one night stands, booty call, अर्को के भनेको थियो मैले बिर्सेँ, friends with benefits, हैन, त्यो भइरहेछ होला, तर I think people are still very reserved about it. अब प्यारेन्ट्सहरू फ्यामिलीबाट त of course no one is able to I think say यस्तो मैले यस्तो गरिरहेको छु भनेर, हैन. Even friendsहरूबाट I think many people still might feel shy कि. अनि यो policing मैले चाहिँ what I think a lot of it comes down to is Nepal, or we're talking more about Kathmandu, हैन यो. There's a lot of community control के, हैन, community surveillance चाहिँ भनौँ न. So त्यो can be, even if for example मेरो parents are very progressive, हैन, म धेरै बाहिर बसेँ, उहाँहरू पनि अहिले बाहिर बस्नुहुन्छ, त्यो भए पनि काठमाडौँमा even if your parents are pretty chill अनि you're pretty liberated भनौँ न, तर wider community attitude is still that you need to be in a certain type of relationship, हैन, especially for young women to have casual sex, that is still very very stigmatized. So I mean, of course we're controlled by that ki. No matter how independent, how sexually liberated we may be, we still have to be kind of conscious of what the community says, I know, because our family or still have to hear it ki. And I think is a big इस्यु वाइ यो भइरहेछ अनि अर्को चाहिँ के भन्ला थिएँ they're I think for older generations of still it's the open conversations about sex is a very new thing and they're just not exposed to it.
And forget the fact that Sunny, you're just having it without having a proper relationship. Have you like personally tried fighting it, or how has it been for you to be so outspoken and vocal about things like these? You used a very nice term, community surveillance. I just could not come up with that term right now. So community surveillance. So how do you personally, on your personal level, fight with these things?
So yeah, I write a lot about this stuff, and mainly my social media, Instagram. Ani tyo mero followers are mainly of young women, especially, and they very much agree with this, can relate to it. Ab tyo maile arko generation, older people, I don't even try to educate them because I don't know if they'll ever get it. Maybe some people will, some won't, but I don't feel like it's an effective use of my time and energy. Ani the backlash ekdam धेरै हुन्छ, so मैले त्यो उ गर्दै गर्दिन. अब I am a 30-year-old woman, and I very much believe, although Nepalma doesn't matter how old you are, as a woman you still have to get home at a certain amount of time. 9 बजेपछि घरमा फोन गर्नै पर्यो, कहाँ छु झुट बोल्नु पर्यो हैन. त्यो छ, तर I really try to hold on to मेरो independence and the fact that I'm an adult woman, meaning that it's only me who gets to make choices about my sex life, हैन. So त्यो I do not try to justify that to anyone. I don't think it's even important to have that conversation with family or relatives, because it's none of their business. Okay?
What I want to say here is, it's not important to have that discussion with your family and relatives. But I know one thing for a fact, that we never initiate the discussion. It's them.
Oh.
It's always them. And I really would like to listen from you. Like, how do you tackle to those kind of questions if it just comes to you from your relatives and friends and close family or anything, if you're comfortable sharing?
This was the bad, honestly. Maybe there, I mean, कसले आर्ट गर्छ जस्तो पनि लाग्छ कि प्यारेन्ट्सले कहाँ अब तिमी कोसँग हिँडिरहेछौ भनेर त आई डोन्ट थिङ्क सोध्छ होइन. सो त्यस्तो त अनेस्टली भएको छैन. मेबी मोर अबाउट माई वाइड स्प्रेड फेमिनिस्ट एक्टिभिजम एन्ड स्टफ, त्यो अलिकति रेजिस्टेन्स ओर थिङ्किङ किन अब फर इक्जाम्पल फोटोजहरू आई माइट पोस्ट सम काइन्ड अफ ट्याबु ओर ऱ्याडिकल फोटोज अन माई इन्स्टाग्राम, त्यसमा चाहिँ आई ह्याड पिपल चाहिँ किन यस्तो हालेको यताउति. अनि या आई जस्ट से हुन्छ नि, आइम ट्राइङ टु मेक अ पोइन्ट अबाउट वुमेन्स बडिज होइन, द्याट आवर स्किन सुड बी लेस सेक्सुलाइज्ड. सो त्यो म काइन्ड अफ बुझाउन खोज्छु.
बुझ्नुहुन्छ?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe they just pretend. They might still be like talking about me, I don't know.
All right, yeah, that's a very intelligent thing you said. I understand that one.
Oh, yeah.
So I have had all kinds of friends while growing up in Kathmandu. So I've had all kinds of people, and I've been very observant. It has been very amusing for me to differences dekhna like there is a certain group that's so scared to explore, and then एउटा drastic change के जस्तै मैले ठिक्कको balance कोही पनि देखिनँ. There's been drastic change मेरो आफ्नै group of friends मा पनि, where there's one person or maybe एउटा कस्तो भन्दा spectrum को अर्कै side मा के they are like too much exploring के हैन. अनि मैले एउटा कुरा के realize गरेँ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ they are not doing it because they want to do it, तर एक किसिमको एउटा हुन्छ नि रेबल जस्तो के जस्तै यिनीहरूले चाहिँ हामीलाई यस्तो कन्ट्रोल गर्न खोजिरहेछ, त्यही भएर हामी चाहिँ झन् वी हेभ टु लाइक जति चाहिएको छ त्यो भन्दा नि बढी गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने किसिमको. एन्ड माई फ्रेन्ड्स हेभ सेड द्याट कि यिनीहरूले चाहिँ हामीलाई यस्तो गर्ने, त्यही भएर म चाहिँ यस्तो गर्छु भनेर. एन्ड माई फ्रेन्ड it's one friend that I'm really thinking about, who I had this conversation with, and I start looking at most of my friends who are into hookup culture or say casual sex from that perspective. Do you think it comes from जुन जे भइरहेछ जस्तै hookup culture or casual sex or trying to be more open about this sexually, comes from the fact that okay यस्तो bigotry छ यो सोसाइटीमा, to really break it बाट आएको हो कि it's just personal choice मात्रै अथवा desire?
I think there's so many reasons. I think there's so many reasons why people participate in this. I think there's also a big difference in, let's say, if you're a young person, I know 17, 18 देखि 20, and you're just coming to understand your sexuality, I know, versus alikati once you do kind of understand what you like, what you don't like, what you desire genuinely, versus what is the peer pressure to do, I know. त्यो बुझेपछि चाहिँ I think we can, especially women, can reclaim this hookup culture as something that can be empowering. तर young people, I think especially अब यो हुन्छ नि अहिलेको 17, 18-year-oldहरूलाई social media generation भयो हैन. अब if they're just very heavily influenced by what they see on social media, they surely might feel that pressure that मैले पनि यो hookup culture मा participate गर्नुपर्छ हैन. Ani, a lot of them might not want to. Okay, a lot of people might want that genuine connection, relationships, and honestly, I think most of us do. I know. Oily, there's young people might think there's a lot of fear of commitment. I know, emotional intimacy, but which is again due to a lot of things, childhood trauma. त्यो पनि हुन सक्छ. तर त्यो pressure to participate पनि I think हुन सक्छ. But at the same time, for many people, especially women, I think it can also be very empowering that now they can have sex like men, that's something that men have always been allowed to do without much judgment. Or let's say, I think bistare, more women are also feeling bold and empowered to live like that. And maybe a bit more acceptance.
Yeah, I do think that they feel a little strong that they have control over the sex life. And they know that they can enjoy it. They want to enjoy it. They're doing it for pleasure. And they know how they can, say, you know, have fun while they are in the act, because हामीले अलिकति traditional notion हेऱ्यौँ भने चाहिँ a woman is only supposed to lie down and man does his thing and it's done. Okay, अनि हिजो मात्रै अस्ति कहिले पनि we were having this conversation where we were talking about porn, अनि जुन किसिमले चाहिँ pornले हामीलाई देखाउँछ, okay, a man reaches the climax and it's just done. अनि there is no angle to what a woman wants. And from that to straight coming to a culture where I think women not just knows her body, herself, but also, you know, maybe just makes a choice of picking people or, you know, her sexual partner is definitely very, very empowering. How do you think it is for men? मैले जब यो concept सोचिरहेको थिएँ, I only thought from women's perspective. Maybe because त्यहाँ अलि बढी bigotry छ, अलि बढी pull back छ, हैन? So I have always wondered, okay, what is it from a man's perspective? Have you ever thought of that?
Yeah, I have. And त्यो चाहिँ I think is the con to hookup culture भनौँ न, because I actually feel it can also be a very misogynistic thing, to participate in hookup culture, because I think many men see it as they don't even need to show the basic level of respect to their sexual partners. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, if it's your girlfriend or someone you want to be in a relationship with, the treatment of respect, honoring boundaries, consent, त्यो basis त हुन्छ नि, हैन, because you're like, okay, I care about this person, but for the man. Whereas if a man knows, there's absolutely no expectations, casual thing, I actually think it can be really dangerous and harmful for women physically as well as psychologically, because there might be absolutely no discussion of consent or boundaries. अब त्यो छैन भने त that's a very difficult area. So I think in a lot of ways, men ko lai, it actually gives them more permission to be more misogynistic, because they're like, okay, अब यो केटीलाई कहिले भेटै हुँदैन, मैले जे गरे पनि हुन्छ type के. So त्यो चाहिँ I see as a very big problem with hookup culture.
Yeah, from a man's perspective, I couldn't think के हुन्छ होला, like if, you know, all of this is happening. And when you said, okay, con ko hisabले, there's one thing one of my friends said, easily available सोच्छ भनेर के. The easily available is the term actually. अनि easily available सोच्ने, अनि like you said, अब यसलाई भेट्ने त होइन, जे गर्दा नि भयो, it's just about maybe one night, or you know, just we're just having fun type को. And I know one of my friends who कस्तो misunderstanding जस्तो भएछ between the two people, हैन. अनि with this we will go to the pros and cons of this thing, so miscommunication भएछ. So my friend is like totally in love with that guy, and she thinks, okay, we're having a proper relationship, and the guy actually thought it's just a casual sort of thing, we're just friends with benefits भनेर. So यस्तो किसिमको misunderstanding पनि हुँदै जाने रहेछ नि त between two people when we get into this, so this is one thing that I think miscommunication, which will eventually lead into say emotional distress or any sort of a trauma, relationship trauma, or anything, so depression, anxiety, or any sort of mental health conditions, होइन यो एउटा भयो. What do you think are other cons that could come follow? जस्तै अघि एउटा निस्क्यो अनि अहिले एउटा, so what are the others that can be?
Yeah, I think again त्यो communication नै नहुने पनि जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई हुन्छ नि. There is no talk of consent and boundaries, and I think it's a lot because we're not taught to talk about it, okay? Both men and women, I know. Oily, I think there's a lot more conversation around sexual consent. Why is it important to say, yes, I want this, no, I don't want this, I know? That I think a lot of women are still really, really shy to articulate that, I know? Because people think, bole bhani mood ruin huncha, or it's really weird, bits of act ma huncha ni kehi bhanna, I know? So ekdam hesitation cha, okay? And as you, timle pani dherai example diyo friends haruko barema, malai pani I know so many where women just don't feel comfortable or empowered to say what they want, whether that's about do this or don't do this, I know. So त्यो गरेर चाहिँ I think there can be a lot of negative repercussions for people involved. I think main con चाहिँ त्यही नै हो जस्तो लाग्छ.
Yeah, I also personally think that pile up हुँदै जान्छ के. You don't tell what you think in one occasion and then it just stays there. It gives the other person a different kind of idea. Then again, there is another occasion where you don't say anything. Then again, it piles up. It's like two different misunderstandings. This very pile up, and it's like a bunch of misunderstanding, and then the whole relationship is either you know, they don't know what's happening. You're a party or ठाउँमा, you're a party or ठाउँमा. So I personally see hookup culture बाट चाहिँ अलिकति misunderstanding ले चाहिँ eventually problem cause गर्छ कि भन्ने हैन. अर्को एउटा चाहिँ I was having this concern for women, multiple sexual partners can actually cause these kind of problems in their reproductive areas or हुन्छ नि त्यस्तो कुराहरु निस्केको थियो के. So do you see this also as one of the concerns?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't think of that. तर yeah, safe sex को बारेमै कुरा गरौँ हैन. Again, sexual education यस्तो limited छ or patchy छ that मान्छेहरुलाई थाहा पनि छैन. Or also there's a big problem of men refusing to wear condoms, हैन. त्यो पनि again I've heard so many anecdotes from young women, हैन, and men as well saying I don't feel it's not as pleasurable, I just don't want to, and again if the woman is not empowered to say no, you have to put on a condom, भन्ने they might be like ल हुन्छ. अब त्यो STIs, sexually transmitted infections को risk is very very high, especially if you have casual partners, हैन. Then of course unwanted pregnancy को पनि becomes very high. So definitely to health. And the other thing I just thought of was often hookup culture or casual sex is also associated with alcohol, and drinking. So I think a lot of people, obviously, drink garepachi you feel more uninhibited, like you feel maybe a bit more sexy as well. So when alcohol is thrown into the mix, again, it can cause many issues because the boundaries on it blurred, so consent bhairachha ki chaina. And then also the very important thing to remember is that a drunk person cannot legally give consent, so that can also lead to assault, sexual assault huna sakcha ke if you hook up with someone who's very very drunk, okay? So alcohol pani involved boy, but it can become very messy.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice point. I never thought of it because I think जुन topic को बारेमा हामीले कुरा गरिरहेका छौं, that crowd is very party prone. I don't know if that's a term. It's like they have this syndrome that they have to go to party most of the time. मैले general कुरा गरेको, like there is of course a crowd maybe who don't party and still are into hookup culture, but the people I know are definitely into this particular setup. अनि त्यो सेटअपमा गएर if you are open to casual sex, it can be very harmful, especially to women, young girls, I know that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I never thought of it. So maybe how can you work on this then?
अब खै drink responsibly त के भन्नु हैन, मान्छेहरु पार्टी गरेपछि त्यही अब drink, they want to drink and they want to let loose. Education is जस्तो लाग्छ के, an awareness, हैन, and we really need to teach young people and also especially men that don't have sex with a very drunk person, basically, because it's just not, it's not okay, and there's so many cases happening, right, of women underage women being drugged and being sexually assaulted and stuff like this. And I know that your Kathmanduma huncha ke. I have friends who it's happened to, I know.
100%.
This is something that happens, right? So त्यो अब party entertainment industry जे भनौँ पनि त्यसमा to see this as normalized is very wrong, I know, and we need to really address this ke. And also educate young people, young women on how to be safe. But it's also not our responsibility in ta, हैन. Why should we have to take on the onus that हामीले हाम्रो ड्रिङ्क कसले किनेको हेरिदिनुपर्छ, यस्तो गर्नुपर्छ हैन. We need to teach men that this behavior is not okay.
So yeah, I think there needs to be alikata consciousness pani hunu paryo, because sometimes when we're drunk we just say okay, let's go, let's do it, and then maybe that's about, like you said, it's not legally legal consent मानिँदैन भनेर, you said that, which is a very, I never thought of it, damn, but sometimes it just happens, it's okay. So हामीले अघि west र east को कुरा गरिरहेको थियौँ. So I haven't been to the west or in any like international, I haven't been there, but from whatever I've watched in social media or say movies or whatsoever, it does look like okay त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ maybe casual sex or hookup culture लाई चाहिँ त्यति धेरै जसरी डिग्रेडिङ यहाँ हेरिन्छ यहाँनिर इन साउथ एसियन कन्ट्रिज त्यति हेरिँदैन कि जस्तो लाग्छ क्या मलाई. सो what has your experience been, considering you've been abroad and considering you, I think, have ideas of that? What is it like, the difference?
Yeah, so म धेरै बसेँ हैन western world मा, mainly Australia मा. And yeah, I agree with that. It's a lot more chill, the attitude towards casual sex, and I think a big reason for that is mainly young people move out of home, Nita. I feel like even if you have that desire to have casual hookups, hotel, right? Most of us are living at home till we're like adults, till we get married or whatever. So the location plays a big part in it, I think. Ani त्यो family को त्यति influence and control कम हुन्छ नि त बाहिर हैन. So the parents are not always watching you, monitoring your movements, कहाँ जान्छ यता जाने. So त्यो physical freedom पनि भयो, I think, बाहिर. Ani community control, as we talked about before, is a lot more chill. So यहाँ obviously नेपालमा हाम्रो नेपाली culture कि त Hinduism ले के भन्छ भनेर पनि it influences a lot of our behavior and our thinking. तर बाहिर त अब it might be secular, or people are not as clinging on to religion or cultures as the concepts, so they feel more liberated and able to do what they want with sexuality. And I think just a general environment that this is acceptable and this is okay भनेर पनि छ जस्तो लाग्छ कि. And the other thing, दुबई नेपालमा पनि छ अहिले एकदमै use is dating apps, because I think अब party उसमा भने अहिले context hookup culture, तर dating apps has also made hooking up very very easy नि. अब नेपालमा पनि Tinder, Bumble छ हैन, बाहिर पनि there's more dating apps, and I know people नेपालमा एकदम they use it regularly के. अनि त्यसले त झन् it makes hookup so easy and accessible, where you look on your phone and यो मान्छे मन परेन कुरा गर्यो, it can happen within an hour. So yeah.
So अहिले कुरा गर्दै जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले अब general youth भनेर हेर्यौँ नि त. Now if we look at it from gender perspective, हैन, अब youth को policing अथवा जुन community control, family controls जुन कुराहरू छन् हैन, यसलाई अब हामीले यदि जेन्डरमा ब्रेक गर्यौँ भने do you think, अनि यसको आन्सर मलाई थाहा नै छ, obviously it's more controlling to women, हैन, because मेलमा I don't think people will even be like हुन्छ नि okay, he is like going around with a girl, he's like having fun, त्यो कुरा छैन, त्यति छ जस्तो मलाई लाग्दैन. Maybe छ होला, which I haven't seen, not in my house, not with my friends. And have you get
No, I haven't seen that as well. I've never seen a man be conscious of like हुन्छ नि I've had so much sex, I shouldn't have भनेर त्यो, I don't know if that's even a thing, right? Whereas for women that is a big concern, right? Number of partners. So I remember when I was in my early 20s, and you again Australia ko कुरा हो, तर my friends used to be very obsessed with the number of partners they had. So they were like, मेरो number of partners cannot be more than eti, because then people will say I'm a slut, or मेरो future partner will judge me for that. Whereas I think it's very much the opposite for men, that if they have more partners, they're more of a player. They're wow, kasto cool guy or whatever. So women like to ekdam concern pani huncha ki.
I've never seen a guy think, oh my god, I had a lot of sex. Oh my god. Yeah, with girls. So the example that you're giving me is Nepali girls staying abroad.
Dubai, Australian girls as well. So I had
Oh,
many
wow.
friends who were, yeah, white Australians, and उनीहरूलाई पनि यो थियो कि concern. And I remember that actually really infuriated me. Very young age, it's like 18, 19, होइन, university को first year जतिमा. And hearing my friends have this dialogue, and म चाहिँ I decided, made an intentional choice त्यही बेलामा that I would never count the number of partners I had. Okay? Whether that's 2, whether that's 200, you know, the more I'll never keep track because that doesn't define my worth as a woman. Okay? And that doesn't make me slutty. That doesn't make me not disrespectful. Word of piercing, like
Easily
women
available.
or women not deserving respect. I know, dude. That has nothing to do with how I am as a woman, my ethics, my morals, my character. Banera, त्यो मलाई हुन्छ नि, that was something I like really resisted. के
That definitely is there. जस्तै हाम्रो जहाँ हामी छौँ नि होइन त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि एउटा इक्जाम्पल दिन्छु ल. आई थिङ्क आई रिमेम्बर अ लट अफ थिङ्स द्याट आन्टिज से क्या. अनि हामी एउटा पूजामा गएको थियौँ होइन. अनि देयर वर लट अफ आन्टिज एन्ड देन गर्ल्स फ्रम आवर एज एज वेल. अनि त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ बाहिर विदेश जाने कुरा भइरहेको थियो. अनि वान अफ दिज आन्टिज जस्ट पक्कै सेड के छोरीलाई त नपठाउनु हो विदेश, कोही चोखा हुँदैनन् त्यहाँ भनेर. दिस इज द रियल टर्म क्या. अनि लाइक yeah, whatever that is, what does she eat? के हो चोखा हुँदैन? What goes in the mouth? के गर्छ उसले त्यो? And I think we all understand what she's trying to say is, okay, girls there, they have sex basically. So उहाँहरूको कन्सेप्ट अनुसार चाहिँ अब विदेश यस्तो कुरालाई पनि इफेक्ट गर्दो रहेछ क्या. अनि मेरो फ्यामिलीमा पनि भएको छ कि when my cousin she wanted to go abroad, one of my uncles he just said हुन्छ नि नपठाउनु छोरीहरूलाई, त्यहाँ कस्तो हुन्छ केटीहरू हामीलाई थाहा छ नि भनेर के. सो एउटा हुन्छ नि ओके दिस इज हाउ दे सी क्याजुअल सेक्स एज के, or women making their sexual choices or having say multiple partner or having sexual relationships before getting married or whatsoever. I'm not sure if you're aware तर हाम्रोमा चाहिँ त्यो कन्यादानको कन्सेप्ट छ नि त.
yes, yes.
Where you have to be like a virgin and then that's like the best form of kanyadan, so your parents can go to heaven. त्यो गरे पनि चाहिँ.
Yes.
So I think culturally पनि religiously भनौँ न religiously पनि एकदमै इफेक्ट गरेको छ मेन्टालिटीलाई जस्तो लाग्छ क्या मलाई चाहिँ.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Have you
so too.
seen any of that around?
Yeah, I think so. अब यो कन्यादानको concept is such bullshit, होइन. अनि even like दान, you know, कन्या is a virgin woman, होइन, from what I understand. अनि उसलाई दान दिने like बाउले दुलालाई के. अनि really
Father gets to go to heaven after that.
ए त्यो चाहिँ थाहा थिएन मलाई यो सेकेन्ड पार्ट चाहिँ. नत्र भए चाहिँ जाँदैन हो.
If the daughter is not virgin. Damn. Sorry, Papa.
So the concept in itself is that ownership, right? A woman has a male owner at all times. So only our father later say law मेरो छोरीलाई तिमीलाई दिएको भनेर transferring a woman from हुन्छ नि father to husband. Okay, so that's so messed up in itself. Your religion and virginity को चाहिँ not just Hinduism तर Christianity मा पनि छ होइन, because when a woman in Christianity gets married, she wears a white dress down the aisle and her father walks her down the aisle. Similar concept, okay? The white represents virginity and the man...
Oh.
Yeah, purity, virginity is the white.
I always thought that was such a white, dagless clothes to wear in a wedding or something. I didn't know that's what it meant.
Yeah. And then the father is again walking her to the aisle to give to the husband, you know? So there are a lot of religious texts because religion is very patriarchal in its roots. And a lot of it is very much based on women's virtue. Women need to be pure, you know? They shouldn't have sex before marriage. So I think also it hasn't gone away. And I don't know Nepalma yo testo huncha ki huँदैन तर अरू cultureहरू that are even more religious भनौँ न is like बिहाको next day मा तन्ना check गर्ने to see. Have you heard of this?
I've heard this. Mostly नेपालमा त I don't have any idea त्यस्तो कुराको, तर मैले इन्डियामा बढी सुनेको छु. लेट्स से साउथ एसियन कन्टेक्स्ट लिउँ होइन. सो इन्डियामा चाहिँ मैले सुनेको थिएँ दिस ह्यापन्स. अनि सी when a penetration happens, not every woman bleeds.
Exactly.
For first penetration ma.
Yeah.
There are women who bleed and the bleeding doesn't occur the way they are expecting it to. Exactly. It happens differently for different women. You थाहा छैन नि त. अनि a lot of women who don't bleed, who may have been virgin and whose first night might have been with their husband, blood निस्किन भन्छ, they get very scared अरे. So they cut their आफ्नो हातहरू कता कता body part काटेर चाहिँ they keep it on their bed sheet अरे के. So त्यस्तो कुराहरू पनि मैले कहाँ पढेको भिडियोजहरू देखेको हुन्छ नि somewhere I've watched this. It happens in India somewhere, in some parts of India. I'm not saying like all parts of India. India has become very progressive from what we watched in Bollywood films like 5-6 years ago. So in some parts of India, yes, I've heard of that. I've read of that. I've seen of that.
Right. And Arko, I've also heard is you can actually buy blood capsules that you slip inside your vagina.
Oh.
That break apart, I know. So women who aren't virgins, like unala solutions, I know, to prove that they like trick people, they're virgins. But not that there's so many myths around that, as you said, like even hymen, I know. So usually, what people understand is hymen intact boy, but it means the woman is a virgin, and hymen break huncha. But hymen when it is break huँदैन के stretch मात्रै हुन्छ, and some women bleed and some don't, हैन. So कस्तो धेरै misconceptions छ, अनि त्यो नै people cling on to and then use it to justify all these things that shame women, हैन, for our sexuality, and take the standard that a virgin woman is like the highest pedestal मा राखेको woman, and yeah, it's just unfair.
Do you think there's a genuine concern regarding this thing as well? Because okay, let's keep this topic ekeshin aside. I would like to know, before we get into that, I think it'll be a better build up. What is your personal take on hookup culture? How do you see this? Say things like casual sex or one night stands or friends with benefits, booty calls, all these things. What is your personal take on it?
It's shifted from when I was younger. I know when I was in my early 20s, I think I saw it as something that it's free. It gives me more choice. It gives me and my friends and women I know choice to do whatever they want. And if they're emotionally ready, then they can be in a relationship. And if they want something really chill, then they have that option as well. And I saw that a lot as well. But as I got older, I saw it in a more nuanced way, And I think that is that we need to be informed and aware, especially of our identity, our sexual identity and our desires, okay? And be able to communicate that with a partner, So I see it as more, you need to kind of know what you're doing before getting involved in it, okay? So for example, if you are a woman and you know, but sexually I'm into this and this, and these are my boundaries, this is how I will talk about my consent, then I think it can be great, and if it makes you, if after the encounter you feel good, you feel that you've achieved pleasure and you feel like, yeah, I feel empowered, great. But if after that encounter you feel used, you feel like I didn't get any pleasure from that, it was just a waste of my time, and you feel like shitty about yourself, then don't do it, okay? So I think it's a very personal thing, and I think it can really change throughout our lifetimes. Yeah, that's my personal take.
Wow, lovely things that you said there. That it can be extremely, it is, I think, all about a personal choice, and if whether or not you are in control of it,
yes,
whether or not
exactly.
you're in charge of your body and of the moment, I think, even if you're with someone, a sexual partner that you're with. So there are a lot of young girls who are watching it. If I mean they also may be having the same thought that you were as a young woman, I know. What would you like to say to them? I mean, we can really help them understand this thing, I know. You said, okay, it's important that you know what you want, or whether or not you are in charge of it. What could be the basics of this process?
I think the number one thing I would say is don't be afraid to communicate, The funniest thing I think is, ironic, is that people are not shy to do things with their bodies, but they're shy to talk about it, नबोलिकन silently चाहिँ जे पनि गरे हुन्छ तर बोल्न चाहिँ लाज लाग्ने के. So I think that's the biggest thing is please communicate, with your partner. Ani sleep with people or be casual with people who have a basic sense of respect towards you, okay? Just because you're involved in a casual encounter does not mean your body belongs to someone else, that they can treat you however they want, okay? So have casual sex or be in flings that are with people who actually respect you and respect your body, respect you as a person. Ani, if you feel uncomfortable with someone, please voice it, okay? Kinaki, also young people, about young men can also be really, they don't know as well, Nita. Dubezana might not know, They're not bhanigana someone sansana cues or त्यो नबुझ्न पनि सक्छ के. So त्यो बुझेन भने चाहिँ भन्नै पर्यो, right? So those are the main things I would want to say.
Also, when it comes to safety, technology ko zamana ma chahi, there's one thing that I always talk about, and that is when I did this program about of mental health, and त्यो बेला I got to speak to a lot of young girls, and एउटा एकदम prominent problem आइरहेको रहेछ कि that is with their partners blackmailing them with all the pictures and videos that they have had taken in their intimate moments, I know. अनि कतिजनाले त लुकेर पनि भिडियोज खिच्ने रहेछ. We have those kind of things as well. अनि अहिले त्यो टेक्नोलोजी झन् इजी बनाइदिरहेको छ कि. So in terms of safety, it's also very important that you do not do these things, or you don't have to send nudes to a guy who you're not emotionally attached with, and even someone who you're emotionally attached with. I don't see any need of it. I know. And I would really, from my personal side, really push this fact. Nudes not needed. Do not ever send that, because they say it gets very difficult for girls to come out and talk about it. Okay? And if you're someone who is into casual relationships, casual sex, it's you're even more prone to the blackmails. I know. Just emotionally attached someone, then maybe you are safe, but if you're not, you're not. So it's very important that you set your boundaries in terms of like your technological time. I'd say your context, I would really suggest the young girls to
I kind of disagree a bit. First thing, say, but you said in casual situations it might happen more. Thora, at the same time, there's so many stories of women with boyfriends of 5-6 years and a breakup deal and then revenge. I could say it's really sad that we have to mistrust the world rather than change the world. And mainly world, I mean men. And I think a lot of people do feel even sending nudes or sexy selfies is like a method of self-expression.
It is
that they want to do it because ramailo cha, or it's fun, it's flirty. The fact that women have to always be conscious, that oh my god, mali yo pathai bhane, what if that person uses it against me? It's such a shame ki huncha ni, because but as you said, okay, what's the solution? One is again I think it's like trying to improve the next generation of men and young men, by saying, what are you doing? It's to leak, like what's wrong with you? But then at the same time, where women have to protect themselves, and maybe that's by not sending them in the first place, because you kind of don't know who to trust. But sad reality.
It definitely is very thrilling. You may trust the partner, if you're like emotionally involved, may trust. Though, like you said, 5-6 years, Lamo boyfriend does that, and I know of the case. I was like, it's really very important that you're conscious. It is what it is. Like, the solution is like future ma okay, yo garna sakincha, educate garna sakincha, the next generation of boys and girls like say हामीले भन्न सक्छौं यस्तो गर्नु हुँदैन भनेर. But there is a lot of that happening. So if you are just conscious and you know whether or not you feel safe with the person, it definitely has to be there.
Technologically, I think also there are certain ways you can do it safely. So I know Instagram, you can send disappearing photos, so that the person can either view once or 2-3 soti and then it goes away.
It goes away.
So that might be something that people want to try if they really want to send it. So technologically, but safely, pathauna milcha pani.
Milcha. It is definitely very thrilling to send nudes. It's super fun. You're not supposed to do that.
Tara, I've seen such a funny like meme about it. Where like a woman, when she's taking a sexy selfie, there's like so many steps involved in a makeup angle. And it's like so different.
Yeah, what were they thinking? What are they thinking?
Nothing. They're not thinking.
What are they expecting? Is definitely there. I think that's what the topic that I wanted to touch again was about genuine concerns. जस्तै ल ठिक छ हामीले पुलिसिङको कुरा गर्यौं, युथलाई पुलिसिङ गर्ने कुरा गर्यौं यताउति. Do you think there is genuine concern that the older generation has for the young people, considering you also had this thing to say कि अब म पहिला चाहिँ यस्तो सोच्थेँ, अब अहिले चाहिँ मेरो विचार अलिकति परिवर्तन भएको छ यस विषयमा लिएर. पुरानो जेनेरेसनको genuine concern छ जस्तो लाग्छ, or is it just policing?
No, I think there is a genuine concern, because even if I don't say मलाई नै genuine concern छ and I'm not like older generation भनौं न, I do think your hookup culture has made emotional intimacy more difficult for young people, and I've experienced that myself, where emotionally opening up or being vulnerable with someone becomes harder and harder, you know, and we're much easier to cut ties. Ki? So, rather than being like, okay, this is how I feel, communication gara bhayo, baru I'll just ghost them, you know, or I'll never speak to them again. That's becoming more normalized, ki? Which I think is a really sad thing, because the most beautiful thing about humans is our ability to form relationships, you know, and that's so important to people, all people, right, to be able to form genuine, intimate relationships of any kind. Okay? So, if that's being lost by hookup culture, that's a really sad thing. And I think that'll lead to many people becoming very lonely and insecure. You know? So, त्यो concern हुन सक्छ, I think. अनि when you do have sex with someone, there is an exchange of energy, right? Like emotional energy and physical energy. So त्यो पनि हुन्छ नि, I can see why older generation would think, why would you want to do something so beautiful, होइन, and something people really consider sacred, right? Like sex like sacred way मा पनि लिन्छ नि त. So त्यस्तो act like, why would you want to do it with different people every week भनेर त्यो सोच पनि that makes sense as well. So I think it's both. अब त्यो policing पनि हो, तर genuine concerns and safety again, होइन. So women को कुरा गर्दाखेरि, अब if you meet someone on a dating app and within an hour you decide to go to a hotel to meet them, that can be a very dangerous thing नि, होइन. Kind of going back to the sexy selfies पनि, who can you trust and how can you trust a stranger especially, okay? So त्यो genuine concern for safety पनि छ.
But I'm not sure, like you said, okay, sex like sacred act ko roopma lincha bhanera. I don't think older generation really thinks takes sex as a sacred act. I think they see it more as a reproduction reproduction ko लागि बच्चा जन्माउनको लागि एउटा प्रोसेस हो भनेर मात्र लिनुहुन्छ कि जस्तो पनि लाग्छ के मलाई. हुन त इट कुड अल्सो हामीले यस्तो सोच्नुको कारण मेबी हामीले उहाँहरूले यस्तो कन्भर्सेसन नगरेर पनि हुनसक्छ होइन, त्यसले गर्दा नि सोचेको हुनसक्छ. तर आई फिल द वे दे हेभ पुट दिस थ्रु आउट द होल टाइम, लाइक मैले जहिलेदेखि देखेको छु त्यो देखे अनुसार चाहिँ आई डोन्ट थिङ्क दे सी इट एज अ सेक्रेड एक्ट. आई थिङ्क दे जस्ट मोस्टली सी इट एज अ वे अफ ह्याभिङ offsprings.
And I feel sad for them as well. Like, they never had a chance to explore themselves जस्तो पनि लाग्छ. कस्तो माया लाग्छ कि मलाई honestly, because they're like, okay, I'm only gonna do it 80 times to have babies, and if they've never been taught or say it's okay to like have sex for pleasure and for expression, dude, they're missing out on such a big thing, Nita. So मलाई माया पनि लाग्छ.
So do you hang out a lot with core community? Do you have a lot of friends?
Core community Bhandary.
Yeah, our friends from LGBTQ community.
Okay, queer community.
That's the pronunciation. It's what I'm learning.
Tikai, I think I would love to have more queer friends. So I am a queer woman as well. I know. I identify as bisexual. तर त्यति धेरै queer friends छैन sadly. I think more social media, that's another beautiful thing. Even though they might not be living in Kathmandu, तर हुन्छ नि across the world, but we've been able to connect on similar passions or because of our identities. So yeah.
So unfortunately for me, I do not have a lot of queer friends. Ani, why I wanted to like get here is because I really wanted to know, are they experimenting enough with their sexuality, because this part isn't very out there. अनि मैले यस्तो कन्भर्सेसन्सहरू धेरै गर्न पाएको पनि छैन. अनि मलाई चाहिँ यो पार्ट पनि सुन्नुपर्छ जस्तो लागिरहेको थियो कि do they really experiment a lot with these things? Are they comfortable? What is it like?
So I can only speak up मेरो आफ्नो experience, होइन. Queer communityमा पनि यस्तो धेरै letters छ, होइन, LGBTQIA+, so it's hard for me to summarize. तर I think गाह्रो छ. It's very hard to be a queer person in Kathmandu. Dating apps, again, I think is a very powerful and empowering thing that has been for queer people. And some of my queer friends, especially gay men, have told me this, that dating apps, they meet a lot of people.
Nice, lovely,
so yeah, it's good that there is that. But when I've been trying to date other women in Nepal, the queer dating pool is very, very small, okay? And it might just be a lot of people, again, very scared to come out with their identity. Like, there might be a lot of queer women in Kathmandu, but for so many reasons, and because queerness is stigmatized, because they're afraid, genuinely afraid, of people finding out. त्यो dating pool मा चाहिँ कम छ के, एकदम कम मान्छे छ. So त्यो hookup culture पनि कतिको हुन्छ, अब dating pool कम छ भने त गाह्रो छ. तर again, just based on certain stories from gay men चाहिँ I've heard that there is a lot of hookup उनीहरूको community भित्र चाहिँ काठमाडौँमा पनि.
Oh, that's nice to know. Because like I said, I haven't had a chance to have a lot of friends and have these kind of conversations. So अलिकति कहिलेकाहीँ intimate पनि हुन जान्छ नि त. You can't just know someone through social media and then start asking these kind of questions, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought if you have any, or if I can get any examples from you, it would be really great to know that as well. So यसमा चाहिँ अहिलेलाई म women and gender minorities भनेर चाहिँ एउटा section गराउन त हैन. I think it is somewhere अघि पनि हामीले भन्यौँ pros and cons छँदैछ भनेर. अनि I personally think, okay, women, maybe there are women who can make conscious choices and protect themselves, but I personally think gender minorities अझै हामी queer friendsहरूको कुरा गर्दै गयो भने चाहिँ अझै बढी रिस्की हुँदै जान्छ कि जस्तो लाग्छ कि casual sex or hookup culture चाहिँ. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that as well, because if the world at large does not respect gender minorities, I know they can, I think, face a lot more like violence and harassment in hookup scenarios. Okay, so if we talk about trans women, I know, and I think there are studies and statistics to show this, but especially if there are sex workers as well, I know they face a lot more violence from men, which are casual encounters. This situation ma. So cisgender men being a lot more violent or disrespectful towards gender minorities is, I think, definitely a thing. Yeah, but I don't
they're
know.
more prone to abuses जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई.
Yeah, I think
Because
so
you
too.
know, considering the fact that they cannot come out so openly, हैन, सबैजना त्यस्तो comfortably बाहिर निस्किनु हुँदैन नि त. Like you mentioned, हैन, त्यो community सानो छ, and it may be because they're not comfortable coming out. अनि केही भइहाल्यो भने पनि they cannot come out and say, okay, hey, I was abused.
And victim blaming एकदम छ कि, हैन,
victim
for
blaming त definitely.
women and queer community as well, that okay, why were you in that situation in the first place? I know, what did you expect going home with a man at 10 p.m. or whatever? You know? So the perpetrator like accountable hold garne is still so rare. Okay? I know, and we see this with cases of sexual assault, rape, any incident, I know, where it's always the onus is put on the victim and on the woman, that why did you put yourself in that situation in the first place? Okay? So I think the victim blaming lepani is a big reason why many women might not come forward with what's happened to them.
मैले चाहिँ त्यही नै सोचिरहेको थिएँ कि ओके जब कि अब जस्तै as a cis woman, like I said, like may be very conscious, may have better control, or may not be scared or talking about, okay, this is how I was harassed and this and that. As a gender minority, as a queer person, that may not happen. To comfort नआउन पनि सक्छ अनि त्यसले नै इभेन्चुली इफेक्ट गर्दै जाने हो नि त. ओके, अब्युजर्सलाई अझ पावर दिने हो नि त त्यो कुराले. जति चाहिँ हामीले त्यसलाई क्लोज गर्छौँ, जति हामीले त्यसलाई कन्ट्रोल गर्छौँ, जति त्यो कुरालाई पुलिसिङ गर्छौँ, त्यति नै चाहिँ अब्युजरले चाहिँ बाटो पाउँदै जाने हो नि त अब्युज गर्नको लागि. सो आई जस्ट थट ओके, मेबी there are more risk to it if we have this kind of culture more prominently in a society where there's a lot of policing.
Yeah.
अनि यो एउटा एकदमै जेनरेसनल ग्यापको पनि कुरा भयो कि जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई. जस्तै एउटा पुलिसिङ इज लाइक वान स्पेक्ट्रम एन्ड जस्तै कोएक्सिस्ट भइरहेछ कि दुईवटा कुरा, विच इज आई थिङ्क अ भेरी डिफिकल्ट पार्ट अफ द सोसाइटी. वाट डु यु थिङ्क? जस्तै पुलिसिङ चाहिँ इज लाइक द एक्सट्रिम भयो होइन, एकदमै पुलिसिङ भइरहेछ युथको, द सेक्सुअलिटी, एभ्रिथिङ एल्स होइन. अनि त्यसपछि एक ठाउँमा चाहिँ क्याजुअल सेक्स पनि एक्जिस्ट गरिरहेछ, हुकअप कल्चर पनि एक्जिस्ट गरिरहेछ. यसले लाइक इट्स अ भेरी two contrast coexisting together. A generation gap ले गर्दा पनि होला हैन. Also it just went so fast जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई technology and everything. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. It's so complicated, I think, we've covered so many topics within it that for some people, hookup culture can be really empowering, really liberating, and give them a chance to sexually express themselves, explore things, and that can be really great. Others, young people, might be feeling peer pressured, might have had bad experiences. Ani same community ko policing ko pani timle bhanya. So yeah, nothing else to add, but you've covered it well.
Thank you. All right, so I pretty much covered most of the topics that I had thought of. Thank you so much for coming up with good conversation in that. Is there anything else that you think we should have talked about? In this topic?
I think we've covered everything. Your dating apps ko is something that I'd kind of forgot to think about. Your preparation ba bhanau na. But I think that's so tied with your hookup culture. Okay? I think dating apps na babe iti popular hudaina thyo ke. And because Nepal ma pani these apps are there like Tinder, Bumble, use pani bhairacha. त्यसले pani I think has really facilitated hookup culture to become so widespread. There are people also say like Instagram ko DM is like Tinder pani bhaन्छन् हैन अनि sliding into the DMs or concepts where that's something flirting happens through Instagram पनि छ तर social media ले गरेर there's so many ways के that people can see who their potential sexual partners are, choose हैन photo हेर्दै मलाई यो चाहिएन अनि facilitate that. But yeah, and for young people watching, I think it's just like, please be aware of your boundaries. Please communicate. I feel like so many problems in life, the answer is communication, from personal level to larger level. Please communicate about what you're comfortable and not comfortable with. Ani do it because you want to, because you want to express yourself or you want to get to know someone and you want to share some moments with them, not because you think this is the cool thing to do. You think because साथीहरुले कुरा गरिरहेछ, or I think I'm not men को कुरा गर्यौं नि, pressure on men versus women. I think there is also a pressure on men to be like if there's this thing expectation उनीहरुको peer group मा that they should be having lots of sex, they might feel that they have to अनि यो हुन्छ नि toxic masculinity भन्छौँ हामी. अब त्यो culture नै teaches men that okay, they should be really aggressive and assertive and हुन्छ नि being with a lot of women. So I think definitely men लाई पनि त्यो pressure छ that even if they just want to have one partner or they don't want to have sex at all, तर okay हैन मेरो साथीहरुले सबैले गरिरहेछ मैले पनि गर्नु पर्यो अनि this is how I should act भनेर के. And I think porn is something that's very harmful in that way, because a lot of mainstream porn, let's say, shows a lot of men being very aggressive towards women. And तिमीले भनेको जस्तै women like को pleasure त देखाउँदैन के. So if young men, if young boys grow up and their only source of sex education is porn, then that really warps their sense of consent and of what people want sexually. So this porn can be very, very damaging, I think, for teenagers if they have no other way of learning about sex. So yeah.
Yeah. I think यो कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ जुन हामीले भन्यौँ नि हो कि they need to go around with a lot of women भनेर, यसमा number of partners अथवा peer pressure from that context भन्दा पनि जुन किसिमले हामीले sexual orientation को बारेमा सिकाइएको छ त्यसले पनि इफेक्ट गर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ.
Yeah, definitely.
So we forget that okay, there is something called a sexuality. We forget that okay, the ACS exist as well. I know a sexuality भन्ने पनि कुरा छ. There may be people who do not want to have sex, and that is also a part of sexual orientation in large. I know त्यो पनि सोचेकै छैन. Also they need to go sleeping around with a lot of women भनेर. What about gay men?
Yeah, exactly.
त्यो पनि आकै छैन त्यो कन्टेक्स्ट पनि हैन. So I think यसमा sexual orientation को concept पनि आउँछ कि जस्तो लाग्छ, जुन चाहिँ हामीलाई अब eventually it's been passed on to us from like generations. So त्यो एउटा context पनि छँदैछ. There's one final thing, a discussion that we need to really have, because I have a young boy at home. My little brother is a teenager, and I do feel that okay, I hope that he's learning good things in life भनेर हैन. So there are many other young boys out there who now, I think since we've already started with the hookup culture thing and the dating apps are like out there, maybe they're all this will just grow. You borde जान्छ होला हैन. So what are the things that the boys need to know in order to create a safe space for women, so that they can also express themselves, and for them also in general, that if they don't want to have a committed relationship and they want to get into a casual relationship, what can they do so that they can create a better space, a safer space, and a good sexual healthy sexual environment or community overall.
Yeah, very important. I think again, our boys or young men like भन्दाखेरि पनि don't feel pressured to do something just because your friends do it. And this is something that's so generic to so many things, drinking, smoking, other dangerous, risky, unhealthy behavior जे भनौँ न. So त्यो peer pressure resist गर्न, it's hard though, it's so easy for us to say because we have probably been through our own journey of resisting peer pressure. We've become assertive, तर young people like त्यो गाह्रो पनि हुन्छ, that just try to really be confident in like doing what you feel comfortable with, अर्को again, I'm saying communication like 50 times, तर त्यही हो answer.
That's the basic of
that's the thing,
all kinds of relationships.
Exactly. And sexual encounters ma pani like please feel please do ask your partner what they're comfortable with. के हुन्छ नि, do you like being touched here? Is it okay if I do this? And please tell me if you feel uncomfortable. Check in with your partner consistently. Ani, it's okay to do that, and you should, हुन्छ नि, because you can't just expect that your sexual act पछि हामी number 2 गर्छौँ, 3 गर्छौँ, 4 गर्छौँ अनि त्यही orderमा हुन्छ भनेर कि, because people might only feel comfortable with number 1 and number 3 but not number 2, होइन? So to really ask them, being like, do you like this? Do you not like this? Tell me when to stop. And safe word is a common concept as well, sexma, where it's another word that maybe people feel more comfortable, that if they're doing something and they want it to stop, rather than saying no, they can use a word like vanilla or, I don't know, tractor or anything. So रमाइलो word बनाए पनि हुन्छ, so that you don't feel like, oh, no भनेर मान्छेलाई घचार्न, but like just be like something cute little word.
Yeah. I'd personally say don't be judgmental of women who want to explore their sexuality. Euta, I think त्यो दिनु नै पर्छ, because I know of friends who have been told things like really mean things. So I really hope that the next generation of boys don't have that kind of judgment for women who want to explore their sexuality. Second is the very basic, have safe sex.
Yes.
Look at the safety part. You do not want to go for a one-night stand and then end up being father to a child. So I know. Also no STDs. So yeah, that's safe sex is definitely there. Arko, yeah, like you said, communication is why I'll really add consent in general.
Yeah.
Like get a basic idea of consent, of how this needs to go. And a very valuable thing that she said today was consent by a drunken woman is illegal. So look at that point as well. Sometimes, it's not your fault and then you just get into trouble. So try to keep yourself safe as well by knowing what consent is and knowing these things as well. Ani baki kuro ta bistare sikhide gaihalincha.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, definitely.
All right, that was a really fruitful discussion, Nirvana. Thank you so much for making it to the show today. I hope that you enjoyed as well, as much as I did.
Yes, it was great. It was fun.
Thank you so much, and good luck with the book.
Thank you.
And hope to come to one of your events very soon. And get to read your books as well. And keep on doing the amazing work that you do, writing amazing things you write on Instagram, and keep educating people with all the knowledge that you have.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Nishma.
you so much. So yes, with this, it's time for me to wrap up today's episode. यहाँहरूलाई आजको एपिसोड मन पर्यो होला र यहाँहरूले चाहिँ यो एपिसोडबाट धेरै कुरा सिक्नुभयो होला भन्ने म आशा गर्दछु। र यदि अझै पनि यहाँहरूलाई लाग्छ हामीले चाहिँ केही गलत बोलेका छौँ, हामीसँग डिसएग्री गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ, हामीसँग एग्री गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ, अथवा हामीले जे बोलेको छौँ त्यसमा यहाँहरूले अझै थप्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने चाहिँ प्लिज फिल कम्फर्टेबल। रेडियो नागरिकको युट्युब च्यानल र फेसबुक पेजमा हामी आई नै रहेका छौँ। त्यस कारणले यहाँहरूबाट चाहिँ अझै यो चाहिँ हामीले एउटा शिक्षाको माध्यम जस्तो बनाएका हौँ, इन्फर्मेसनको माध्यम जस्तो बनाएका हौँ। त्यस कारणले यहाँहरूले हामीले भनेको कुरामा सबै एग्री गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने पनि छैन। अझ यहाँहरूले एड गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ भने प्लिज डु एड अप इन द कमेन्ट्स. आई वुड लभ टु रिड एन्ड एजुकेट माइसेल्फ एन्ड द फ्युचर जेनेरेसन. सो लेट्स क्रिएट अ सेफर सेक्स स्पेस फर द फ्युचर generation. And saying this, I'm Nishma Choudhary signing out. You have a wonderful time ahead.